Sometimes we don't realize the power of our words. In today's episode of The Written Compass, I am super excited to share and introduce and talk with Chantel and Mwale Henry. They are the co-owners of the Bestsellers Academy, and they've helped over 1,300 people on their writing journey. And today we're going to talk about the power of using the book as a Kickstarter, as an anchor, as a resource for your future intellectual property. I'm so excited for you to join us today, so let's get started. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of The Written Compass. Shana Hartman here, PhD turned embodied writing coach. I'm super excited today. We have some lovely guests on. The one thing that's been really fun about this podcast is the different people I have been able to connect with who also have similar stories as to mine, just loving writing, loving supporting others and sharing their messages, and really helping people understand that their voice matters. And so I'm excited today to have Chantel and Mwale Henry here as guests on our podcast. And we're going to have some fun conversation, and particularly around how the book is a catalyst for you in your entrepreneurial and life journey. So I'm going to talk a little bit about and introduce them, and then we're just going to dive right in. So these two are a husband-wife duo, and they co-own the Bestsellers Academy, and they've helped over 1,300 people on their writing journey. I love that so much. And that's because, Chantel, we have a lot in common. We both have that background as university professors, and I can really relate to you just wanting to support others in just being leaders and really using their voice to create change and make an impact. I love that. So welcome you all to the podcast. I'm so excited you're here. Anything you want to share about you that I did not cover? Because I know there's lots of amazing things that you all are doing.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shanna, for having us. And I just love your podcast, by the way. I was sharing with my husband, you interview when you do, right? Because you don't always have interviews with experts and thought leaders, but when you do, you bring some of the best to your platform. So we're just honored to be named amongst the few.
And shout out to you just supporting people in having clarity to their ideas. But to your question you asked, what is one thing you didn't mention about us? Well, I'm an avid skydiver since I've had our kids, which would be my son, he's 5, and my daughter, she's 3. She turned 4 2 weeks ago. My wife has officially grounded me from jumping out of planes. So I should say I'm an ex-avid skydiver.
I'm supportive of that. I'm with you.
Seriously, it was a matter of for me making sure that we could avoid any mishaps, because the kids alone, they give you almost a heart attack every moment. So I said, let me at least have some certainty in my life.
No. Let me give you the honest answer. She said, you're not going to leave me alone to raise those 2 kids, so keep your butt on the ground.
I love it. Yeah. And so it's so fun. How did you all tell a little bit about, I always love people's stories of like why writing, and it's usually because how writing and sharing your voice has supported us in our lives. So I'd love to hear a little bit about kind of that story for you all.
Okay, great question, Shannon. And for me, I could say personally, it really started on my journey. You know, many people know me as a management consultant. I work with Franklin Covey Institute. One of the youngest consultants. If you hear my accent, I'm originally from Trinidad, Caribbean boy. Actually, this podcast, I'm actually in Trinidad right now.
Love it.
And so that was my professional journey, was more in that corporate space, leadership development. But one thing people didn't know about me is that there was a time I was literally homeless. I'm talking about 6 months sleeping in the streets. And I know many of you will ask yourself the question, how does a professional, who worked with so many thought leaders, managed leadership conferences, worked with President Obama, the Queen of England, now end up in a strange country sleeping on the streets? And that journey in itself is a whole nother story. But I could tell you up front, it was writing that allowed me to find myself, to discover myself, to question myself much more thoughtfully, to provoke myself to change. And I actually wrote my first book while sleeping in someone's basement. This is after 6 months sleeping in the cold. And it was just me rediscovering myself and finding out not only that I'm enough, but challenging myself to understand that my thought leadership and my contribution is something that is living and doesn't die
Mhm.
due to circumstances. And my journey, and the lens that I carry through life is a unique lens. Not just my DNA, not just my fingerprint. I come from a big family. I have two brothers, two sisters, and I'm the last in my family. And even though we all had the same home experience, we all had a unique view from that table of what we saw.
Yeah.
And it's through that process. So I always encourage, business owners who are really looking to bring their biggest contribution to the table. Writing allows you to discover and rediscover your unique contribution to the world. So it's from that place of homelessness, I'm constantly on that journey to help
Yeah.
people reconnect with themselves, reinvent themselves, and writing supports you in that process.
I love it. I love it. Yes. I've always say like there is an amazing thing that happens when we bring what's on the inside to the outside
Yes.
and see your words. And I love how you said like it's a continuous journey. So many people feel like they're supposed to know what they're supposed to write before they start writing it. And like literally physiologically, it's not possible, but also it's such a process. You're literally discovering as the words are coming out, as your fingers are on the keys. And it sounds like that is representative of your experience as well. And what do you feel like, why is that so important? Do you feel like for people who are wanting to be speakers, be coaches, be thought leaders, what's powerful about them going and experiencing that kind of interesting process of being reflective and taking the inside on the outside and putting their words down? What do you all feel like is so meaningful about that?
Well, first thing is discovering value. Most times we think value is something that's outside of us or outside of
Mhm.
us, something that's shiny, something that's new. We're always looking after what we call chasing the shiny object. And because it's
Mhm.
shiny enough, we think it's valuable. But the writing process allows, thought leaders, coaches, speakers to discover firstly that their greatest value comes from themselves. So, how do you discover that process, number one, and how do you package that process? So, we call it moving from your unconscious competence to your conscious competence.
Mhm.
So, many people are listening to this podcast. People always tell you, man, you'll be a great speaker. Wow. They call you for advice, they listen to you, and you don't value that because it's so close to you,
It
right?
seems easy. Yeah, we don't value the things that are easy often.
Right,
Yeah.
because we think it has to be hard, right?
Mhm.
So one of our clients, Lisa Nichols, many of you may know her, we had to support her through that process. She had a business division, she's an unforgettable speaker, and she's like, I have this entire business division because I thought that speaking would only be valuable because it had to be hard and business was hard to me. So I brought the business component. It's like, no, what's easy to you is your greatest gift to humanity.
Mhm.
So similarly, we take clients through that process of seeing what are you known for? And the very thing that is so easy to you, you now through the writing process, you move from your unconscious competence to your conscious competence because you're doing it at a cellular level, Shannon, right? You don't know your following steps. You
Right.
don't know how you get to that place of breakthrough, but writing allows you to sit down and be conscious of what you are competently doing, breaking those down into steps and creating an outcome for someone. So that's for us is our biggest breakthrough for people to realize, hey,
It's already in me.
it's already in me.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And for me, the background as a teacher, and Chantel, you can probably relate. It just breaks my heart when people have that like they are so unique and everyone's so unique and they have something to say and there's something that they're self-conscious about, likely because of school, unfortunately, if they've been told their language is not, they don't speak right or properly or whatever. And how do you what's been your experience around that in supporting people who have beautiful voices, have beautiful writing voices, and yet there's that other voice inside of them that's telling them, oh, don't say that, or you're bad at grammar, or what, all those little, I call them gremlins, right, that show up. How do you what shows up for you when I kind of talk about that? I'm curious, Chantel.
Yeah, well, you said it perfectly. The grammar gremlins, right? Maybe we weren't the best writers, we weren't the best speakers, but you are the best at something. And whatever that something is a formula, it's a strategy, like Mwale was saying, that can benefit someone else's life. Like if we think about what we have, Shanna, to share as being that prescription that is a matter of life or death for someone, I believe that we will take less time mulling over the fact that we're not, the prettiest or, the most well known. And we'll truly think about the other person who's waiting for us to just make a decision, to just settle on the fact that, hey, if I just give this idea of how I was able to transform myself from being, a single parent to now having a husband and or being a single dad and now having a wife. If I'm able to give one person that transformational idea of what it took for me to get from A to B, their life would change.
Yes.
I'm willing to share it.
Yes.
Right. So I always say, think of your one person who's going to be impacted by your writing your book, as opposed to all the people who may not read it. If you're willing to bet on yourself and say, hey, I'm satisfied with at least transforming one person's life, then that makes it worth it. It'll get you through those difficult times when you're thinking you're not enough or you're fearful.
Wow. And to pivot to what Shanta said, Shannon, we speak to people who are in that perfection cycle, right? Like, I think I'm not good enough, or they question their competence. And we say clearly, there's a clear difference between a writer and an author. There's a clear difference. And your assignment is being an author.
Right.
It may not necessarily be a writer.
Right.
That's where someone who's competent in subject-verb agreement and grammar structures and pronouns, etc. But your story, you are the author of your story. You are the person that's bringing value. And to Shanta's question, when you think about what your story will do, you are in a place of service. So it's not about your perfection, right? It's really about your commitment to the purpose. So, and that's where we really challenge people too.
Absolutely. And I think that speaks to what keeps people from sharing their words, sharing their ideas, and actually finally writing and publishing the book and getting it out there. Tell me, on the other end, we're kind of getting there, like, what have been some amazing things that you've seen people, when they do get those words down, they do get that book out, like, what are some of the things that are on the other side? Because when we get started, right, with the process and starting a book, we sometimes can't see, or even if we're thinking about it, like I love when people don't realize the impact that it's going to have, because I don't think you can fully anticipate the impact. Some of my clients, like, just the connections and different people who bought their books. What are some things that you've seen that are on the other side that can happen when you finally say yes to yourself, yes to your story, yes to authoring a book?
Oh.
Yeah, I was going to say one that really stands out is when Mwale finally wrote her book. Mwale was a divorcee. She had a bunch of children in high school, and like she was the ideal soccer mom, right? Dedicated, devoted, and she was putting everyone else first and herself last, right? How many of us have been there where we prioritize our kids and our husbands and our lives and our jobs,
and things don't go according to plan,
and things really don't go according to plan. Or you're just playing safe. You're like, I'm going to stick in this lane and decide on doing what I've always dreamed of doing later on in life. And that's where she was. She had a desire to change the world with her formula of forgiveness. And her formula wasn't born because all of a sudden she decided, oh, I want more people to forgive in life. No, she really had to practice this thing and walk it out. Her sister was actually one of the first Americans to be killed during the apartheid movement in South Africa. Yeah, it was very, very traumatic. And she had no other, well, she had a lot of choices, but she decided to use her pain for a powerful purpose. And instead of, being angry her whole life, being filled with grief as she rightfully would have been. She forgave those individuals who, instead of seeing her sister as the helper that she was, she actually came out to help those who were oppressed by apartheid. But they saw her because of the color of her skin as the oppressor.
Right.
And unfortunately, she succumbed to the violence that took place that day. And so Molly's seeing this, knowing that, hey, I got two choices in life: to either be very, upset about this and continue to let this burden me, or to forgive. And so that formula that she used to get her out of that dark place, Shanna, became a best-selling book. You've Got This. And in that book, she walked her audience through the process of rising above things that can automatically set you in despair, and what that takes to actually do it. And she went over the course of several years after releasing her book, speaking at schools like Columbia University. You went to South Africa, all over the world, sharing this recipe that really transformed a lot of people's lives.
Yeah, and that's key to your question, Shana. Like, what's on the other side for someone who writes? So, like Molly, from writing a book, she was able to craft a digital course, craft a one-on-one coaching, be able to craft a keynote speech. So, what we tell speakers and coaches is not just writing a book.
Yeah,
it's your intellectual property.
Yep.
It's the foundation to everything that you do. How do you know when someone is about to run for office? They launch a book, but the book speaks to their policy, it speaks to their purpose, it speaks to why they are there.
It speaks to their background, right?
Yeah, get to know you. Absolutely.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah. So similarly, as a speaker, as a coach, as a consultant, your book is going to be the foundation for everything that you do.
Yes.
And we always say, see your book as leverage. If you're listening, write that word down, leverage. So you're going to be, when you go into the space of writing, you're leveraging that 1 unit of energy of writing. You are actually already creating the framework for your digital program.
Yeah.
You're already creating the syllabus for your coaching program. You're already creating, the framework for your retreat, for your corporate training.
It's like the best renewable resource, like forever. You had it's so fun to be like, I need to write this email or this page for my website. And it's like, let's go to the book because it's probably already written in some way.
Everything. So for those who are busy and you want to solve the problem of your products, your services, what's your income ecosystem? It starts with the foundation of your book. It's leverage.
Yeah, I love that. And I just love the succinct way that you're saying that and leveraging it. It becomes a support system really for whatever is going to come. And let's be honest, like books still have major street cred, like whether it's an ebook or, audiobook or print book, we are society because we love stories. We love language. We love connecting with people in that way. And so yeah, it really is for me kind of a no-brainer, not as a have to, like it's not the book as a have to be successful. And you're not going to be successful if you don't have a book. But I love like the way you're talking about it is it's this support, it's this anchor, it's this resource that you will have forever and ever. It will literally be a legacy that you leave behind, it even lives on beyond you, which is just super cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. I love it. Well, please, let's hear what are some ways that people who want to connect with you, what are the best ways to get connected with you all? Because y'all are great and I can't wait to share with everyone.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. So, the best way to really keep in touch, we are massive servants. So sometimes you'll just maybe get a text from us if you're a part of our community or a private message, because we have a community called the League of Experts. And if you go to joinloe.com, you could be a part of that community. It's really a safe space where thought leaders go to change the world.
Awesome. I love it. We will have all of this information, all the ways to connect with each of you. I'm ready to come to visit, please. So however we can make that happen, I'm ready to be in the Caribbean. Although we're having nice weather in North Carolina right now, but still, I'm down anytime. So let's
Yeah.
figure
Trust
a way to
me,
make that happen.
trust me, we'll plan it, right? Because we're based in Atlanta, so whenever we make
That's
next
right.
trip,
I'm in
We'll
Charlotte, so
bring
we're not
you.
far. That's right. I love it. Well, thank you. It was a joy to meet you, and have the most amazing rest of your day. And podcast friends, get connected to them, reach out. We love keeping the book writing and all that love going. So thank you so much, and we'll see you all next time.
bye,
Thank
guys.
you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Written Compass. If you are enjoying this content, do me a favor and go and review the podcast. This allows me to share and get these messages out to the people who really need them, who we want to read their books in the future. You can also go and share your thoughts and tag me at Shana Hartman _ on Instagram. Again, this is just a way for us to get connected and share the writing love. And if you know that you are ready to write your book, that message that's been burning inside of you for a long time, then I want to talk to you. My team and I want to talk to you. Head on over to shanahartman.com and click work with us. From there, you'll see an application to explore and see if writing your book is your next best step.